The sun blazed down on the city hospital, throwing long shadows across the concrete where paramedics gathered for a brief moment of rest, sipping tea, sharing stories to lighten the burden of endless emergencies. But that fragile peace shattered when one paramedic's eyes caught a shivering blur in the distance, a scrawny stray cat, her fur matted and dirty, struggling with every ounce of her fading strength to drag a limp, barely breathing Kitten toward the hospital doors. The air itself seemed to hold its breath. Over there, one paramedic gasped, pointing with wide eyes as the mother cat's desperate journey unfolded across the sunlit pavement. Her eyes blazed with a mother's unbreakable love, her steps stumbling yet unyielding, the tiny kitten dangling lifelessly from her mouth. That's not normal," another paramedic whispered, voice cracking with awe. Around them, the world turned silent as if every car horn and city shout fell away, leaving only the sound of the cat's labored breaths and the kitten's weak, pitiful whimpers. In that moment met in raw, sacred vulnerability, the primal plea of a mother refusing to let her child die alone, and the stunned hearts of humans realizing nature had come begging for help. The paramedics rushed toward the pair, their training and compassion blending in a blur of action and fear. Their boots scraped on the slick hospital tiles as they gathered around the shivering bundle of fur. "We can't bring them inside," one paramedic murmured anxiously, recalling infection protocols that barred animals from sterile areas. Yet every instinct screamed at them to do something, anything, as the kitten's weak cries grew fainter, each tiny mule a dagger to the heart. Kneeling slowly, they held out hands to the mother, praying she would understand they meant no harm. Her eyes darted with wild terror, but when she sensed their gentle intentions, her tense jaws softened, releasing the kitten onto the cold floor with a faint thud. The tiny creature's limbs twitched, fragile paws skidding helplessly as it tried to stand, but its body was too weak, its head too heavy. It collapsed, eyes rolling back, legs splayed unnaturally, pulsed through the room as time slowed to a crawl, every heartbeat echoing with the weight of the kitten's fragile existence and the human's silent promise to fight for it. A sudden convulsion sent a wave of terror through the onlookers. The kitten's body spasmed violently, eyes bulging, mouth opening in a silent scream. "Put her down, quickly!" One paramedic yelled, hands trembling as they laid the seizing kitten gently next to her frantic mother. The mother cat circled wildly, her guttural meows piercing the sterile air, brushing her head desperately against the paramedic's boots in a frantic plea. "She knows we can help," one whispered, voice thick with emotion. Around them, the hospital corridor felt like a cathedral, every fluorescent light a candle flickering over a scene of desperate hope, blurred into a single, heartbreaking prayer that the kitten's shaking would stop, that this innocent life would not fade into silence, that a mother's love could be enough. As the seizures subsided, the mother cat wasted no time. She snatched her kitten up again and started dragging her down the hall with a fierce, determined stride, ignoring gasps of amazement. "She's leading us," one paramedic said breathlessly, eyes wide as the cat moved with uncanny purpose. They followed in stunned silence, weaving past patients and nurses frozen in disbelief. Every step of the mother cat felt deliberate, as if she carried ancient knowledge of halls humans built for healing. She didn't hesitate, didn't sniff, didn't turn. She marched straight to a small examination room, paused at the door, and set her kitten carefully beside the table like a patient awaiting care. Sang in that quiet room as the mother sat perfectly still, eyes locked on the door as if expecting salvation. The paramedics radioed Dr. Ahmed, the on-call physician, barely able to keep their voices steady. "Doctor, you need to see this," they stammered. He burst through the door expecting some absurd prank, but froze mid-step. Before him sat the battered mother cat, eyes wide with a mix of fear and faith, her kitten trembling beside her. "What in the world?" Dr. Ahmed whispered, awed beyond words. He approached carefully, extending his hands with a reverence usually reserved for newborn humans. The mother cat sniffed his fingers, then butted his hand softly, eyes pleading. Gently, he lifted the limp kitten, laying her on the examination table as the mother leapt up, refusing to leave her baby's side. Tears welled in the eyes of hardened paramedics who'd seen every form of human suffering but never this. A desperate mother from the streets who'd placed her child's life in their hands. Dr. Amy examined the kitten with growing dread. "She's been poisoned," he murmured, heart sinking. The mother cat's pale gums and weak limbs told him she too had ingested something deadly. Likely rat poison scattered by officials trying to rid the streets of strays. Anger and grief burned in the doctor's chest. These were innocents, victims of a world too cruel to spare the smallest lives. He remembered an old folk remedy, charcoal to absorb toxins. He mixed powdered charcoal with soft food and coaxed the kitten to swallow a few bites, voice low and soothing. "And just a little more. You can do it," he pleaded, every word a lifeline thrown across the chasm of death. The room fell silent as they waited. The kitten's breathing slowed, eyes blinking sluggishly. Then, to everyone's astonishment, she swallowed a sip of water. A collective gasp filled the room, and erupted in hope like sunrise after endless night. The mother cat nuzzled the doctor's hands, rumbling deep purrs of gratitude. But when Aaron, the paramedic, tried stepping away with her in his arms, she lashed out with a sudden hiss, claws flashing. "She let you hold her, but not leave her kitten," Dr. Ahmed said softly, respect shining in his eyes. He offered charcoal and water to the mother cat too, knowing if she could survive the night, both might live. Nurses hovered, bringing fresh towels and warm blankets, turning the exam room into a sanctuary. Each hour crawled by intense vigil. The kitten's tiny chest rose and fell unevenly. The mother cat never once closed her eyes, pressing her frail body against her child's to share what warmth she had left. Every person there felt time suspended by the weight of two small lives clinging to a fragile thread. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight touched the pair. The kitten lifted her head weakly, mewing softly. The mother cat responded with a gentle lick, eyes shining with fierce joy. "She's going to make it," Aaron whispered, voice cracking with relief. Dr. Ahmed smiled through tears as the kitten drank water with growing strength. "She's a miracle," he said hoarsely, knowing he would never forget this night. He called his friend Dapana, a veterinarian, refusing to send them back to Istanbul's dangerous streets. "Dapna, you won't believe what happened today," he said, voice trembling with the wonder of what had taught them all. That love, even in the smallest creature, can move mountains and heal the hearts of those who dare to answer its call. A mother cat literally brought her poisoned kitten into our hospital seeking help. Dr. Kitten, an animal lover with a kind heart, was horrified about the poisoned animals, but impressed by how the cat had sought help, she immediately agreed to take them in, believing they deserved a second chance at a loving life. The mother cats were transferred to Dr. Defet Hospital. The mother cat became worried when they were moved. Seeing the cat carrier, she immediately became aggressive. "Easy. Now," one of the nurses soothed, "we're taking you somewhere even better." She didn't want to leave the hospital. Safety, not understanding they were going somewhere even better. Once inside the carrier, her sweet kitten followed. The doctors were happy. They'd overcome the first hurdle. Now it was time to take them to the safety of the vet clinic. At their arrival, Dr. Deffen thoroughly examined both cats. Her diagnosis was serious. They had been poisoned by rat poison, likely eaten on the streets. The hospital doctors had been right. Thankfully, their quick action had probably saved their lives, but the pair still needed more care. Determined to give them the best chance at full recovery, Dr. Dapana and her dedicated team began the challenging detoxification process. It wouldn't be a quick fix. They needed multiple steps for the complete treatment. "This will take time," doctor told her staff, "but I believe they can make a full recovery with proper care." The first step was removing the poison from their bodies, requiring careful attention, and patients' days turned to weeks as they worked tirelessly to help mother and daughter regain strength. Slowly but surely, signs of improvement appeared. Their once scruffy fur regained shine, and they gained weight, showing the effect of the love and care they received. As days became months, Sun grew stronger, more energetic and playful, showing traits of a healthy, happy kitten. Her bond with her mother remained strong, and they spent days playing and napping together under the watchful eye of the vet staff. Their legs were now much stronger than when they first entered the hospital months earlier. The doctors probably wouldn't recognize them now. They no longer looked like dirty strays, but like cats that were loved and cared for. The mother cat changed the most in behavior. She became very friendly with everyone and felt comfortable letting her kitten explore and have fun alone. She clearly understood the danger was now past. She knew they were healthier and heading toward good lives. Unfortunately, one more step remained before settling down. They couldn't stay at the vet clinic forever. With their physical health restored, Dr. Daphne knew it was time to find them a loving, permanent home. She contacted local animal rescue groups and began searching for the perfect family for this remarkable pair. Word spread about the extraordinary mother cat who dragged her poisoned kitten to a hospital, and their amazing recovery. People from all backgrounds were moved by their story, and many wanted to adopt the loving duo. This was a great start, but they needed someone deeply committed to housing the Mutherauder pair. They wanted to ensure whoever took the cats would provide a permanent home without any more moves. They had already experienced too much trouble in their lives. We need to find someone who understands what these cats have been through. Dr. Daphne explained to potential adopters. They need stability and security after everything they've endured. Luckily, they didn't wait long. Soon the perfect family appeared. The Yilmaz family opened their hearts and home to the mother cat, whom they named Noor, and her beloved daughter son. The Yilmaz family had recently lost their own cat and felt that giving a home to this special pair was a fitting tribute to their lost pet. "We've been looking for cats to adopt," Mr. Yilmaz said when meeting them. "As soon as we heard their story, we knew they were meant to be part of our family." The transition to their new life brought joy, tenderness, and discovery. Noor and son adapted easily to their new surroundings, enjoying the warmth of a loving family. It was amazing to see how much they had changed in such a short time. The family often had to remind themselves these were once street cats who nearly died. Their journey from Istanbul streets to the comfort of a forever home showed the power of love and compassion from those who helped in their time of need. Without the dedicated professionals who helped them, the story could have ended much worse. Just when the story seems to conclude with a happy adoption, an unexpected twist awaits. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. Look at them now. Mrs. Yilmaz would say, watching the cats play. You'd never know what they went through just months ago as their cats settled in. The Yilmaz family launched campaigns against rat poison dangers, organizing fundraisers and working with local restaurants to prevent more poisoning cases. Noor and son's remarkable journey inspired countless people throughout Istanbul and beyond, showing how compassion can emerge in unexpected places. Little did the Yilmaz family know that Noor and son's extraordinary journey had only just begun. These cats were saved for a reason, they often told friends who came to visit, words that hung in the air like a prophecy waiting to come true. 6 months after adopting the mother-daughter pair, the Yilmaz family brought them to Dr. Daph's clinic for a routine checkup. The clinic felt like a second home by then. The nurses smiled at Noor's proud stride, son's playful leaps across the exam table. But fate was already weaving a new chapter. The door swung open, and a nurse entered pushing a wheelchair holding a small, frail girl. "I'm sorry," the nurse stammered, seeing the room occupied. "We didn't know." Mr. Yilmaz quickly waved her in. "Please stay," he said gently, sensing something in the child's hollow eyes. The girl was 8-year-old Zeynep, a patient from the children's hospital next door. Her skin was pale, her eyes distant, lips pressed tight with the pain of a chronic illness that had stolen her voice and her smile. For weeks, she had spoken to no one. The room felt heavy with sadness until Noor, usually wary of strangers, lifted her head and leapt softly from the examination table, shimmered in that single, breathless moment as the mother cat stepped forward, tail high, and hopped straight into Zeynep's lap. Gasps filled the room. "She never reacts like this," the nurse whispered in shock. The child's eyes widened, tears sparkling as Noor curled up, purring a warm, deep rumble that seemed to vibrate in the silent air. A trembling hand reached out. "Then a miracle," Zeynep smiled. "The cat is purring. For me, she rasped, her voice breaking free like sunlight bursting through storm clouds. Seconds later, Sun bounded over, chasing the dangling tassels on Zeynep's blanket with kittenish glee. Laughter, clear and bright, bubbled from the little girl's throat. The nurse's hands shook as she checked the monitor. "Her vital signs are improving," she stammered, eyes wide with disbelief. Danced in that room, a symphony of joy and relief echoing from every corner. Soon, Zeynep's doctor, Dr. Mehmed, arrived, drawn by the sounds of laughter he hadn't heard in weeks. He watched as Noor and Sun snuggled against the child, their fur rising and falling with each precious giggle. "There's something special happening here, Doctor," Mehmed murmured, heart pounding. "Would you consider starting a formal pet therapy program?" With Dr. Defen's support, they launched Istanbul's first official hospital pet therapy program. Using Noor and Sun as pioneers, word spread like wildfire, and local media rushed to cover the story of the street cats turned healers. Families across the city wept as they watched news clips of children smiling through tears, hugging purring cats who had themselves been saved from the brink of death. Other pet owners volunteered their animals, swelling the program with dogs, rabbits, and more cats, each carrying their own stories of survival and second chances. Grew beyond one hospital room, reaching nursing homes, special needs schools, and PTSD clinics, where once silent patients began to speak, smile, and even laugh. 3 months in, the hospital recorded astonishing results. Children healed faster, needing fewer medications. Elderly patients with dementia recognized loved ones again. Veterans with haunted eyes finally found moments of peace. But the most astonishing transformation was Zeynep herself. 6 months after that first miraculous meeting, she walked, unaided, out of the hospital, her disease in remission. Doctors called it a medical marvel. Her parents called it a blessing. Zeynep called it love. "It all started with Noor and Sun," she whispered to reporters, her words shining with gratitude. The Yilmaz family and Dr. Defin founded Sun's Chance, a rescue dedicated to saving strays and training them as therapy animals. Their mission was simple: to prove every life, no matter how small or battered, has the power to heal. The program grew, bringing comfort to thousands across Istanbul and beyond. Noor and Sun became local heroes, their images on posters for fundraisers. Their purring presence inspiring countless families to adopt and cherish animals others had discarded. Rippled out like waves, touching hearts far beyond what anyone could have dreamed. Years later, the journey came full circle when Zeynep, now a strong, confident young woman, graduated veterinary school. As she stood on stage, diploma in hand, she began her speech with a shaky voice. "My professors wanted a thesis filled with charts and statistics. But I wanted to write about what truly saved me, a mother cat who taught me to fight." She looked down at the front row where the Yilmaz family sat, tears in their eyes, with Noor and Sun, older, slower, but still radiant with love. "Sometimes," Zeynep continued, voice growing strong, "patients become the healers, and those once discarded become the most precious. That is the miracle of Noor and Sun. They taught me, and all of us, that every life has a purpose, even if it takes time to discover what that purpose might be." Did you enjoy this story? Do you believe animals can heal hearts no medicine can reach? What are your thoughts on pet therapy and its power to bring hope where there was only despair? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Animals remind us love comes in many forms, and sometimes the smallest paw can leave the biggest mark on a broken soul. Thank you for being with us. Until next time, may compassion guide your path.